Jake Drake, Chapter 5, KIA DIA. That night after dinner, I told my mom and dad about the science fair. We were having ice cream for dessert. Mom and I had chocolate, and Dad and Abby had vanilla and strawberry. Abby's my little sister. She's 2 years younger than I am. So back then, when I was in third grade, Abby was a first grader. I handed the science fair booklet to my dad. Right away, he flipped through it. He looked at each page for about 2 seconds. He said, "Okay, yeah, that makes sense. This is good, fine. Great, Jake. This'll be a lot of fun." Then he ripped the permission slip off the back page. He signed his name and handed his pen to me. "Just sign on the line, Jake. There you go. Now we're all set. So, what do you think? You want to make a rocket or maybe a volcano? Those are a lot of fun. Or maybe a model of a planet? I always loved making Saturn, the one with all the rings. That's a great project." Meanwhile, my mom started reading the booklet, carefully. Abby wasn't doing anything except stirring her ice cream around and around in her bowl. Mom said, "My goodness, Jim, did you see that there's a prize for first place?" "Well, of course. Well, sure," Dad said. "There's always a prize for first place. When I won my 7th grade science fair, I got a nice trophy, but I think my sister threw it out when I went to college." My mom winked at me. Then she said to Dad, "Okay, you know there's a prize, but do you know what the prize is?" My dad said, "Well, no, I mean, not exactly, but I know there's a prize, so we'll try to win it, right, Jakey?" Like a rocket, something really exciting. The judges love exciting projects. Mom had flipped to another page. She looked sideways at me and said, "Jake, why don't you tell your dad why you will not be making a rocket for the science fair?" I said, "That's because on page 3 it says I can't make anything that burns or smokes or explodes." Dad said, "Well, there are other kinds of rockets, like the kind that use water power, a water rocket. So we could still make a rocket." Mom laughed and said, "That sounds like something a KIA DIA might say." I said, "What's that mean? KIA DIA?" Abby looked up from her ice cream soup. She said, "I know. It means know it all, do it all," Mommy told me. And I remembered that I had heard Mom say that before. One time, Dad wouldn't read about how to put a new bicycle together. Mom said he was being a KIA DIA. And when we got a new garage door opener, it broke because Dad hooked the motor on backwards. He didn't read the instructions. When that happened, Mom said, "Dear, sometimes I wish you weren't such a KIA DIA." Or when my dad wouldn't stop and ask for directions when we were lost in the car, I heard my mom say, "Don't be a KIA DIA." Mom handed the booklet back to Dad and he started reading. I said, "You know the prize? It's amazing, Dad. If I win first prize, I get a Plutonium-12 computer from Wonky Supercomputer Store." Dad said, "A whole system of Plutonium-12? "Yeah," I said, "and a year of free internet service, too." Dad whistled, and then Abby tried to whistle, too, but instead, some melted ice cream drooled down her chin. Dad looked at the booklet again. He said, "Well, I guess we had better get right to work on this, Jake?" See that? How my dad said we? He said we had better get right to work. That "we" got me worried. This was supposed to be my science fair. Right in the science fair booklet, it said that kids had to do their own work. And then I thought, what if Dad thinks he's going to get a new computer when my project wins first prize? Kids like Kevin and Marcia, I knew they were going to be a problem. I was ready for that. But what if your dad is a KIA and a DIA too? How do you tell your own dad to keep his hands off? And that you don't want to share your new computer with anyone, not even him. On this science fair project, there was only one room for one KIA, and that was me.